Okay, so I welcome you all to the 45th ACM SIGCHI Mumbai chapter meet. Today we have with us Rashmi Thakur. So Rashmi is also one of our chapter officers here at ACM SIGCHI Mumbai chapter, and she's been instrumental in building our team. We warmly welcome you, Rashmi. So something about Rashmi. Rashmi is an assistant professor at Amity University, Mumbai. She's pursuing her PhD in design from MIT University, Pune, and has a master's in VFX and animation. So she has about 18 years of rich experience in the industry and in academia. She's also a mentor at Springboard, and she's mentoring some folks in their UI UX projects. Her research interest lies in the design study of visual cues and interaction cues across online social media platforms for illiterate and low literacy target populations. So let's open the stage for you, Rashmi.
Thank you, Kunal, for the introduction. Okay, we have a limited time, so I'll just straight away jump to my presentation. So today my presentation is about data visualization. This is highly inspired by IDC Professor Dr. Rashmi Joshi, as well as my mentor who's in Pune, MIT, Dandesha Bisoy sir. And let me share my screen with you all. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Okay. Visible. So my today's topic is about data visualization and how we are using different tools to visualize. So there are different type of Adobe softwares, Illustrators, software are there where we just give data and it actually give us different type of charts basically. So before jumping to software, I would like to actually first give a background about how data we need to study and how we need to see those type of things. So my topic is about what is encoding, and whatever it is encoded, we must decode it things. That means whenever we design certain things, especially infographic or data visualization, there are a lot of things are involved into that, and the consumer or the people who view that type of flow diagram or diagrams, they have to decode what exactly the designer has shared the information. So as this is just a small, I'm a teacher, mentor, and researcher and student. Let me just skip this part because I think so Kinnari has given a very wonderful introduction about me. So this is the topic about today's data visualization. So data is basically what? Data is a lot of informations we get from different industry collect these type of data to predict their upcoming project, or like suppose we want to do certain weather forecasting, we need data to that. And there are visualization is basically how we represent those data into different type of format, like it could be pictorial format, it could be graphical format. So data visualization is combination of information in a visual way. So why it is important? Because there are a lot of data are there in very complex data, and the normal users, for them to explain those big data is difficult. And especially if we are, suppose we want to create an infographic for a newspaper magazine or a magazine. So there we have a limited space. So in that particular limited space, how we can actually showcase our data. And it is also difficult, and for many people it is time consuming to understand what type of whole data is about if we just give them Excel sheet. So how we can actually make this data user friendly, how they can actually see those type of data. So when we want to do data visualization, there are three main main functionality of this one is that we should understand who are the senders. Basically, the information provider is the sender, and what is the purpose of that one. And then representation of particular data. What type of message, what type of medium we are actually giving those data to the receiver. So it's very important to understand the context of when we are sharing those type of information. So when we are sharing this information to the end user, there are certain rules and regulations also, because we are actually we don't want to give the data in a text, because it will otherwise have a lot of information, lot of things. So in a small space, in a small or one glance, how we can showcase our data. So for that also there are certain principles or grammars are there, so that normal people can understand. So for first thing is basically, so we follow in design, that is called Gestalt principle, which is basically for organizing data. So first one is proximity. Proximity is basically we combine certain things in a certain way so that they perceive things together. Suppose for example black colored dots are there, so if we put all the colors in a black, they will say okay fine, this particular section belongs to one group of people and white dot belongs to one particular group. So first one is proximity, where things are grouped according to the color and that group we provide. Another one is called contrast or scale. When we actually start giving those type of contrast, people start predicting certain things. We can do the contrast either by scale. So this is also can be predicted as an area, how much area that is involved and how much area this one. And thick and thin lines can be there, dot and lines can be there, arrows can be there. So these are basically different ways of actually seeing the data. Similarities also is one of the important things, where actually similarities means if we group certain things in a similar way, they will actually start making some type of relations to that. And another very important thing is that closure. Closure means if certain people doesn't if we delete some part of certain shape, still because of their experience, because of their knowledge, they're able to predict what is the what is not there also. So that is enclosure. That means if it is not fully designed also, still people will able to predict that one because of their experience and previous experience and knowledge about that one, that particular section or topic. And another one is continuity. If you're doing certain thing in certain way, you have to make sure that it has to continue in all your design forms, so that they have a continuity on understanding your design. So when we are designing data into visuals, these are the basic principles we have to keep in mind. And very important thing is that when we give a perspective, as a human being, we start making certain type of relationship with maybe we when we say this particular square is very odd in this over here, and if we say circle, so how many circles are there? So people actually see these type of forms and then they actually start making their assumption according to the visuals. So it's very important to understand what type of elements also we are including in the graphics. So when we are making this type of information into visuals, there are certain important things we have to consider. One is the clarity. First thing is that data, when you get, it has to be completed and it has to be very relevant to what actually you want to say. So make it very clear what exactly you want to say, and it has to be very accurate. And in fact, the visuals also you're actually taking to represent those type of data need to be very crisp, and actually it should depict the same thing what you want to say. Efficiency, when your clarity is there in the topic, visual is very clear, accurate what it is actually depicting, automatically it will bring efficiency in the way of predicting the data. And also there are various techniques are there which are involved in how people can actually predict those type of thing what you're saying. So normally graphic designers are different from visual data visualization, so basically, because graphing is basically, you're just communicating, but in data visualization you are giving the data in a such a way they actually make lot of assumption and prediction from that particular data. So many things is hidden and they are actually seeing the labels and all those things, and then they are saying okay, this data represent these things and all this. So it's very important, the data has to be complete first thing, and whatever the symbols you're using, it has to be accurate. And there are various techniques which we'll discuss further, how we can actually make sure that our data represent the same thing, how we can highlight certain things. So very important to understand what type of data you have, whether it is so there data also divide into two type of thing, whether it is a categorical data or it is new continuous data. Categorical data is basically are divided further into nominal, binomial, ordinal data. So nominal data is basically when we are categorizing certain thing. For example, if we are saying ki Navi Mumbai mein kitne houses hai, so we can go with a bungalow, we can have a one flat, we can have two BHK. So these are basically different type of categories of the things. Second thing, binomial is basically we can actually, when we are saying whether light is on or off, two conditions basically. And the last one is called ordinal data, when there is certain type of order, some type of hierarchy in the data. Hierarchy in sense, like if you want to give a rating, so like you have 5 stars rating, so 1 is very low and 5 would be very high. That means that star also is basically some order, some hierarchy is there. In fact, college mein bhi dekhenge to we have teachers, then we have head HODs, and then we have direct VC. So these are also uh, various type of hierarchy in the system. So it's very important, because when we give data, automatically data tell that data has a hierarchy or not. Okay, another last one is basically continuous data. Continuous data means when we get a data in certain interval, like in nature we have a lot of continuous data we can collect, like for example weather and temperature and all those things we can actually collect. Then populations. So these are basic continuous data where we have to collect data every interval, and it is infinity type of data. So when we talk about data visualization, what things are graphical? Already statisticians have used different type of graphs in this thing. So I'll just show 3-4 graph which are very known type of thing. So first one is bar graph, where actually so we have x and y axis, where actually so first one is called bar graph. I think so all will be aware of them. I will not go into the detail of explaining different type of why it is used, how we can do that. So that this is not today's topic about. So today's topic is about how the different type ways we can do that. So first one, graphical representation, we have a bar graph. And then we have pie chart graph, where actually you have 100%, and from that you can divide the segment into 50, 60, and then the whole you can say it's 100%, and then it is divided into different. So pie chart gives a segment of different, how much is used from the total. Then there is a line graph which we can actually use for comparing, and there is histogram which actually represent data into different interval. Then we have a scatter plot graph, where we actually predict, if you want to predict certain things, it's very nice way to, we can use this particular type of graph. Then we have frequency table, where actually we can actually calculate frequency of certain things. And last one is basically pictorial graph. Pictorial graph, where actually we are using some type of image and symbols to represent data. So what are the elements when we talk about graph and all those things? What are the actual labels, and what are the graphs? What are the things involved in this particular section? Suppose we are using pie diagram also, or bar chart also. What type of things are involved into this one? So if we talk about pie diagram only, actually if we explain that way, so it has a x-axis which is always a horizontal, and there is a y-axis which is on the vertical line, and then we have different type of. So first one is, so basically right now currently I'm discussing about the things your graph should have basically. Okay, first thing is data should be there, has to be accurate. And another thing is that to understand these type of data and representation, you have to label it properly, so that end user or customer or the people who are seeing these data should able to understand what type of data and are there. So first one over here is that, like, title, what would be the name of that particular thing is showing. Like it is right now quarterly sale. So from here also we can say, okay, this is first quarter sale. This is the title of which we can actually show. Second thing is plot. This is the area where actually we are showing the, so this is the area of the chart where actual dimension you can put. Data points basically. So here two type of data we have used: internet sales and in-store sale. What type of sales they have done. So these are basically different type of data, pieces of data, each is shown in this particular bar thing, and which is linked to each other. So one is in retail, it's offline, and another one is online type of thing. And they are basically different type of bars basically it is represented. So these are the basically element used in the graph. So right now currently if you see, there are a lot of different type of website available online which give us facility where we put the data automatically. It will give us different type of template to choose from that. Like for example, first one is infogr.am. Here you give the data, x ka data dal do, y ka data dal do, and automatically it will ask you what type of template you want. and you can choose the template, and it'll start giving you these type of representations. So this is another one. One second. Another one is called a pictograph, where actually pictorial ways also you can actually show. This is again a free tool for infographic creations. So these are basically a few websites actually I'm showing, through which you can actually give the data. It'll actually give you the pie diagram and all the labels, and you can actually change the font and the color of that particular thing. Okay. In fact, Canva also, you can actually use Canva for making your graphic design if you want. So this is not the new thing which is there. It is long back. People are actually using these type of visualization in their designing. So this is one of the example where actually they have shown how the train schedule was there, and this was the from the book, and they have actually used the station name, when which station actually that particular thing it's reaching. So it was in 1885 they have used this type of graph. This is another very important, where actually they are showing the Napoleon full trip thing. So this is the full trip they are going. So this is the full army. This is the number of army they are going, and then you can see number of army reduced. So when they are going, there are a lot of number were there, and then when they're coming back from that war, so automatically this actually started reducing. So this is again very good way of the form of data visualization, what they have they have shown. So here they have captured members, distance, temperatures, longitude, and how much travel distance they have actually traveled, and from which location to which location they have traveled. So when we talk about data visualization, it's not just about showing into bar graph or pie graph type of things. So non-linear way, say you can actually tell the stories. So that is also very interesting way to narrate story, which is nowadays upcoming designers, budding designers use infographic to attract users, because data becomes sometimes very boring. So how they can actually put different type of elements, visuals, to make their data speak for themselves. So this very good example, where actually he's a Nobel Prize. So here actually what they have done, they have from 1901 to 2012, they have actually made a full information design breakdown of the winners of laureate and Nobel, who has won the prizes. They have actually made the categories, age, and the university they have won that one. So this is a very creative ways of creating the infographic they have created. So this is another very interesting, where actually they have shown which country. So they have actually shown how many researchers had followed to different countries from different locations. So this is actually a map design. So what they have, what thing motivated them, so they have captured all those things. What is the country's GDP? How many female employer actually came to that particular location? University ranking, the foreign researchers, different type of populations. So if you see this one, this is a whole visual diagram of that particular page, and this is the basically legend, where actually they are giving all the information. That means this dotted line is basically from which country to which country that particular researchers have traveled, like their origin and destination. So how many this country has how many researchers over the, so unemployed, male and female, and all these type of things. So here this small location only, so this is everything they have actually explained what they have actually done it. So if you have to do these type of data visualization, what and how you can actually do those type of things for that. So these are few more example, two more examples. It's loading still. Yes, Kennedy, you have raised your hand. You want to ask something?
Yes, yes. So, in these images, how do the previous principles that you've discussed, the
Okay.
hierarchy, and how do they match
I'll
here?
explain. I'll explain for that. It will come in coming slides.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So when we are thinking of these type of visualizations, so there are certain things we have to make sure we are keeping in mind to design these type of things. So just okay. So first thing is that we need to understand the architecture. What would be the x-axis and what would be the y-axis we want to show. So it's very important from the start only. We should know what are the main data which we are actually explaining. Like it could be year wise ho sakta hai, it could be like location wise ho sakta hai. What type of data will come? So main architecture of that particular data. So highlight that one. That is the first step, which is your focus point. Another one is that if you are saying which year that particular researcher has moved in, so here, so you can actually, you can start now putting the dots. So these are basically again elements. This now the first step, you're positioning your what type of suppose right now currently if I say which year kitne publications हुए in this particular, so here could be like type of factors which would be like example, let me give me an example of here could be the year, number of years, and here could be the could be about publication, यहाँ पे कितना हमारा visual designing के लिए हुआ, यहाँ पे कितना हमारा publication हुआ about knowing the users, or so here we can have a categorical nominal data where we can actually say, and यहाँ पे फिर हम पोजीशन कर सकते हैं, ओके फाइन वी हैव दिस डॉट, वी हैव दिस पब्लिकेशन ईयर, यहाँ पर भी हमारे इतने सारे डॉट्स थे, सो नाउ वी आर जस्ट पुटिंग द डॉट्स and then we can give this dot some type of shape, some type of forms, just to make it very interesting. So here from here we will start actually constructing our visualization कि okay fine ये form को इस तरीके से हम depict कर सकते हैं, it would be easy. And then second thing is that we need to actually see कि whether any data has any relation with that other data. So if it is there, इससे पहले actually एक slide और आती है, let me just take you to that one, this one. So before actually jumping to styling of that one or making a data visualization, first thing is that we have to make this table, which is called data relative magnitude, where actually we are saying, okay, fine, which are our data type, and data, what are the attributes of that one. And then the second one is that whether this particular data year and that factors, does they have any type of link. So we have to mention here only, पहले paper पे mention कर लेते हैं हम. Then we say, okay, fine, now we have actually created the hierarchies, or we have created the link between or relation between these type of data. Then we talk about the position, क्या एक data दूसरी data से ज्यादा है या compare it, उसका फिर हम पोजीशन करते हैं कि किधर पे वो डेटा सबसे ज्यादा हो रहा है या किस तरीके से हम लोग करेंगे. एंड देन वी एक्चुअली स्टार्ट विद द ज्योमेट्रिक ग्राफ, what type of element would be the best thing to showcase those type of thing. And last one is basically cluster, whether it is representing any type of area, or it is some type of set is there. So normally when we get a data, it's like these type of junk. So हम लोग को यहीं पर यही टाइम पे हम डिफाइन करते हैं कौन मेन डेटा है, उनका कौन सा रिलेशनशिप है, whether they have any type of hierarchy or position. If they have hierarchy, then we have mentioned the hierarchies. And then if there is any type of group, if we want to showcase any group type of thing, we can actually showcase those type of group, and then we can actually start making these type of experiment then. So as I said here, so after making that table, first thing table पे पहले बना लो पेपर पे कि कितना क्या हमारा डेटा क्लासिफिकेशन बेसिकली, देन स्टार्ट विद दिस विजुअल करने के लिए. तो ये भी आप पेपर पे ही कर सकते हो पहले, फिर डिजाइन करो कि डेटा को किस तरीके से विजुअलाइज करोगे उस एलिमेंट को, और उस एलिमेंट के बाद में इसका कोई रिलेशनशिप है एक दूसरे के साथ में, दैट यू कैन शोकेस. एंड देन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, स्टार्ट में ही उसका स्टार्ट नेमिंग इट, अदरवाइज जब ये डेटा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड होते जाएगा ना तो हम लोग बहुत कंफ्यूज हो जाएंगे. So it's very important from the start only, start putting the label, so that you, for you also it's very easy to understand कि क्या डेटा का क्या फ्लो हो रहा है और डेटा किस तरीके से एक दूसरे के साथ में रिलेटेड है. And this is the way, and then full graph will be constructed, and now you can actually start tweaking and making certain change according to the full like जो हम लोग जो जस्टा प्रिंसिपल जिस जो आप बात कर रहे थे कि जो सिमिलरिटीज लेकर आना है, एक कलर पर्टिकुलर थिंग्स जो बता रहा है, एंड लाइन जो हमारे बता रहे हैं, पाईग्राफ. सो ये यहाँ पे हम अपना जस्टा प्रिंसिपल का एप्लीकेशन करते हैं जब हम लोग को बताना रहता है, जब हम लोग चाहते हैं कि वो डेटा को प्रिडिक्ट करे उस तरीके से. क्लियर हुआ अभी किन्नरी, आपका वो जो क्वेश्चन का आंसर हो गया?
Yes. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So it's very important. फिर उसके बाद में हम लोग लास्ट में होता है पूरा टाइटल को अच्छे से नेमिंग देना, इस तरीके से कंस्ट्रक्ट करना, उसका लेबल को किस कौन सा डेटा क्या रिप्रेजेंट करता है लेजेंड में. It's very important, and we fine tune each element of whatever it is connecting, and we make sure that ki it is proper shape, height, वॉल्यूम उसका उतना है, वैल्यू उसका उतना है, ताकि वो जितना ज्यादा डार्क होगा उतना वो आई अट्रैक्ट करेगा, और जितना ज्यादा वो बड़ा रहेगा उतना ज्यादा फोकस पॉइंट वो रहेगा. तो वेयर वी आर फोकसिंग, we have to make sure. So colors अगर bright है तो फटाक से user will see. So we also have to see the hierarchy of text also. कि हम लोग टेक्स्ट को बड़ा साइज कर रहे हैं या कलर हम वेरी प्रोमिनेंट कर रहे हैं. सो ऑटोमेटिकली अगर हम पॉपअप कलर्स कर रहे हैं तो ऑटोमेटिकली यूजर विल सी दैट थिंग फर्स्ट एंड देन अदर थिंग दैट वे. So it's very important to start making those type of clarity here itself. So as I was saying कि data nowadays, so you have lot of data everywhere, data is there, and it's very important कि हम लोग so normal data has to function. That is the basic very important things, is that ki beauty cannot replace the functionality. But agar if we include beauty as well as functionality, it will be very good data visualization representation of that one, and also it will help us in actually lot of viewer will actually be able to see that one. Curiosity बढ़ती है और लोगों को interest भी आता है ऐसा data देखने के लिए. So it's very important. So this is a basic, very important first pointer to make this type of graph first, and then start with the visualization. So अगर हम लोग another question, normally graphic designers and say they ask कि how we can actually create those type of symbols and all those things. So it's very important, अगर आप पहले कर लो कि वो डेटा किस तरीके से आपको रिप्रेजेंट करने का है, तो यू कैन मेक इट अ म्यूजिकल टाइप ऑफ डेटा ऑल्सो. इट डजंट मैटर कि वो पाई डायग्राम में ही देना है. इट कैन बी totally a designer call how you want to represent particular data, and later on so you can put the label also कि हाँ ये डेटा इसको रिप्रेजेंट करता है, and then you have to make sure वो टाइप ऑफ डेटा उस टाइप के सिंबल में ही रिप्रेजेंट कंटिन्यूटी रहे, so that they don't have to decode every time new things. So it's totally a designer call how they have to create this type of thing. So this again normally हम लोग क्या करते हैं, पहले पेपर पे करते हैं ये सब चीजें कि किस तरीके से बनेगा डेटा और किस तरीके से डेटा फ्लो होगा, एंड देन हम उसको पेपर पे डालते हैं कि ये डेटा इस तरीके से रिप्रेजेंट होगा, इसका लेजेंड होगा, इस तरीके से हम उसको लेबलिंग करेंगे, एंड देन द डेटा विल लुक लाइक दिस, एंड लास्ट में हम उसको पूरा यहाँ पे बताते हैं कि डेटा को किस तरीके से डिकोड कर सकते हैं. सो दिस इज द एग्जाम्पल ऑफ दैट वन, and this is the another way of interesting way of showing your so again paper pe pehle they have actually thought upon ki okay fine, we'll see, we'll put the data here. So pehle to paper pe karte hain. Once they have, it's very important whatever you're doing, you have to give explanation also to each pointer so that people should understand ki ye particular yellow is for what, this diamond shape is for what. That is very important. Okay, that's way you can actually you can showcase. And also nowadays you have Illustrator software where actually you can import the data from Excel sheet, and then you can convert into simple diagrams, and then you can manipulate those type of things. So let me open my Illustrator software. Here is my Illustrator software. Okay, before jumping to Illustrator, पहले पेपर पे ही पेन पेपर पे पहले डिजाइन सोच लो. अगर आपने सोचा नहीं है तो आई वुड से पहले first thing is that what type of graph you want to make it, and what time you have. Suppose sometime you get a data and you want quickly you want the pie diagram type of chart diagram type of things, that you can actually do it in over here also. So in Illustrator software, if you see over here, it's just if you press hard. So this is actually Illustrator. I'm not actually teaching in detail. I'm just showing how you can actually use this graph to create your simple type of data in a graphical way. So let me open my Excel sheet. Okay. First thing is data always come in Excel, according to me too. Put it over there. And
Rashmi, we cannot view your screen if you're switching tabs.
Okay, let me just then share my both screen. Thank you for telling me. Let me stop sharing. more time. Uh, if I can I share my entire
No, no,
show all window?
if we have a here, page break here, we only have like 2 minutes left. Should
So
we rejoin the link?
let us rejoin.
It'll be better to record.
Yeah. So stop करते. Let's exit. I'll just repost the link again. ठीक है? तो मैं exit कर रही हूँ अभी. ठीक है?